Hello and welcome to another video by me, Zephyr Beeblebrox, aka the British Tech Guru. I'm going to talk to you today about SBCs. Well, what are they? Single board computers. Okay, I've got three here on this board. There we go. I think we'll recognize them all. Well, you should all recognize that one. That's a Raspberry Pi Pico. That is an Arduino Nano Every. That you might not recognize. That is one of those Chinese boards. It's the ATTiny88, and as you can see it says tiny on the board. Well, I've been trying these three. Now the big difference between them, let me show you the boards again. This one is coded in Python. These two are coded in C++. Well, I have had great success using the Pi Pico. The downside of the Pi Pico is that it only has 3 analog digital converters, and they're not that great. In fact, they're pretty awful. The Arduino has 6 analog digital converters, and they are pretty good. I bought the Arduinos because I want to use the analog digital converter. Now the difference between them in terms of cost, here we go. Pi Pico, $4. Arduino, well, I bought a 3-pack so they're about $10, $11 each. And this thing is about $2.50. You can get them for about 75 cents if you look in the right place. Of the three, the Tiny88 is the one that is the least good. The problem I'm having with the Tiny88 is that it is not accepting half of the standard C++ libraries. So stdio doesn't like it. It doesn't like quite a few things I've thrown at it. It's an awkward one to program because you have to fiddle with extra libraries on the Arduino IDE rather, and quite frankly I have not got the Tiny88 to do anything worthwhile. I keep thinking it's me, that I'm doing something stupid or missing something, but the problem is, the biggest problem is there's sod all documentation for it. And you go look online, you can see Tiny88's advertised and they claim to be Arduino Nano compatible, and they're not. Absolutely not. You have to download a special driver for it for the IDE. That's not compatible. So while I like the price for $2, I honestly can't use it. If I can't get the documentation and it doesn't work straight away with the documentation, it's not worth my time. My time is limited. I have a 60-hour-a-week job, and I only get to do this stuff at weekends. So it really isn't worth my time to mess with things that I can't get documentation for. Now the Pi Pico, I really like that. It's nice and easy to program. The Arduino is nice and easy to program. I programmed the Arduino, the Adafruit Metro, which is Uno compatible. This is an Arduino Nano, so that should be fairly straightforward in the ordinary IDE. I would not recommend anybody forking out $2 for that. Don't buy it. I might be able to use it eventually, but I don't know. It's worth keeping, but it's not worth putting an awful lot of effort into. And I'm supposed to be working on my solar tracker. Well, I had a little fun with the magnifier that I found on my helping hands magnifier that I used to hold electronics. The magnifier is absolutely no good on that little thing because it tips it over. It's so heavy, but it's powerful enough that I can burn paper with it. So that's going to be good for heating up a coin. Now all I need to do is make sure that the magnifying glass is always aimed at the sun, so the bright spot is always on the coin. That might be the challenging bit. That's why I've got the Arduinos. Had I known that this $2 device was going to be such a pain in the neck, I would never have bought it. Instead, I'd have plugged on with my $30 Arduino Adafruit Metro before eventually getting myself this $10 Arduino Nano. I wasted my own time there. And of course, I waited, what, 2 months for that to arrive? I could have done a lot of stuff in that time. Still, I got to build my shed and a few other bits and bobs. Time is... I never waste time. It's too valuable. And... oh, what's his name now? Crumbs, a Norwegian fella. Anyway, I was watching his video the other day, and he was saying people are dying without realizing they're dying. So you're calling their lives death, living death. Well, that's true. If you don't use your life and you don't do things, if you just do your standard 9-to-5 job, come home, watch TV, and that's it, that's not living. He's right. Now with me, I come home, after my 60 hours a week, I am thoroughly exhausted, but then I'm 55, so I've got a right to be exhausted. But I still get on with electronics, I get on with DIY, and I must say I quite like the fact that he hikes and whatnot in the wilderness. Well, I'm out in the South Carolina wilderness, and it would be nice to hike, but the wildlife around here is not particularly friendly. We have 2 varieties of venomous spider, each of which can put you in hospital. We have umpteen varieties of venomous snakes. Then we have wild critters that are quite nasty, coyotes, etc. Bobcats. Yeah. You don't really want to go walking in the wilderness around here without at least a shotgun. And then, of course, there's the 2-legged predators as well. Plenty of them around. And since they're closing the one green area not very far away from me, where all the homeless meth heads live, they're going to be moving out further into the country. What joy! So it means I'll probably have to look out a bit more, do a few more patrols around the property here. Anyway, back to the Arduino. That is a $10 thing, as opposed to my $30 Arduino Adafruit Metro, which is Arduino Uno compatible. And if I'm going to leave the solar tracker outside tracking the sun, then I don't want to leave a $30 piece of kit out there. I'd much rather leave a $4 piece of kit out there, but I don't think the analog digital converters on the Raspberry Pi are up to the task. So it has to be the the Arduino Nano Every. So that's $10. It's still more than $4. Oh, it would have been so nice if it would have been the $2 thing. I wouldn't have thought twice about that. Oh well, it is what it is. Things are getting developed, and there are plans afoot for further developments after the solar tracker. One of my big regrets with the solar tracker is I didn't manage to get a big bucket full of metal Meccano or erector set with all the gears and whatnot, but I've got gears, I've got some axles, I've got some motors. I just need something to mount it all in. So I'm looking out now for some kind of strip. I thought of a brass strip. I think probably plastic strip is going to work just as well. I did think idly about wood. I might still go down the wood route. We shall just have to see. And this has been another British Tech Guru production, and I'm your host, Food People Brox.